Hi, this is Lim from Singapore, and I'll be covering a little bit on the series on JCI Business Airtime on how to expand your business via e-commerce in Singapore. I'll cover my sharing into three key parts. The first being the planning stage, the second being the execution stage, and the third being the improvement stage. So very much in the planning stage, we talk about three key things. We talk about a good product, we talk about a good experience, as well as a good outcome. And when we talk about a good product, we're very much looking at a market fit of the product that you're planning to sell and how do you actually reach out to the right audience, as well as the right product that the audience is looking for. The second item very much is having a good experience. So today, you're very much looking at ease of search, ease of purchasing, as well as ease of use. You want to make sure that when your audience actually comes into interaction with your platform or marketplace or e-commerce store that you actually have set up, you want to make sure that the products they are looking for, it's very much easy to find and they're easy to buy and very much easy to use the platform that you actually have. We talk about good outcome. And in the areas of having a good outcome, it's very important in the areas of what we term as trust or assurance, especially with the increased amount of people buying online. The amount of scams as well as online fraud online has increased dramatically as well. And when an e-commerce buyer or shopper comes into interaction with your store, they question today as well, whatever they have thought they are purchasing, will they actually receive the expected product that they have actually bought? If I bought a black color iPhone cover, will it actually turn up as a pink iPhone cover, or will it actually come in the expected time that I actually have purchased it for? So these three key points when you're in the planning stage of having a good product to the right customer, ensuring that there's a good experience, as well as making sure that there's a good outcome and it's trusted, and giving the assurance towards the shopper to buy on the platform, it's very important so that we are able to cover these few key checklists in a successful e-commerce strategy. The second stage very much goes towards the execution phase. And in the execution phase, we look at three things: the platform, logistics, as well as payments, as well as support. And some thoughts that you might have in regards towards e-commerce platform is, are you going to set up your own e-store, or are you going to list your products onto a marketplace? Some of the common marketplaces and top marketplaces in Singapore that you might be able to list your products on might include like Q10 or Lazada, Shopee, Amazon or eBay. And each of them have their own characteristics as well as operational model, and also a means of being able to allow you to reach out to the right audience most effectively. So choosing the right platform is important, specifically for the type of product you're selling, because each marketplace will have their own key strengths and key audiences that they actually reach out to. The second thing to really make sure that you take care of is in areas of logistics as well as payments. For payments, you want to make sure it's easy for your customers to actually pay if you are running your own e-commerce store. And from a logistics standpoint, it's very important, especially if you're an international company, that you're able to settle the different logistics options. And if you say that you're going to deliver your product and you reach your customer in 10 days or 5 days or even in 2 days, you want to make sure that you're able to deliver upon that. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of bad reviews that basically will potentially affect your future sales. And very importantly and lastly, we talk about support. And although everyone's selling online, customers will reach out to you just to make sure that there's another human being behind that specific platform that you look at. They just drop you an email, or they might drop you a chat on a chat board that you might have on the e-commerce store. Ensuring that you're able to reply quickly is important, because customer service will very much determine if you actually get a sale or not. And lastly, in the improvement phase, we talk about three things. Number one, measure everything. Number two, in the areas of knowing your growth levers. And lastly, you want to make sure that you always stay relevant, because the market always changes. So item one, measure everything. Data is key. You want to make sure you measure everything so that you're able to know where the areas that you can actually tweak to improve on. Areas of growth levers, it's important to know, in order to increase sales, there's only three ways: by increasing leads, by increasing conversion, as well as increasing basket size. You want to be able to collect necessary data so that you know at each stage of your e-commerce journey, which will be the growth levers that you want to tweak. And lastly, know that whatever you have that's successful today might not necessarily be successful tomorrow, because the market always changes, and you always want to make sure that you measure everything so that you're able to improve and you're able to stay relevant. There are three key stages of planning, execution, and proving, and some of the marketplaces you can basically list your products on in Singapore. The question is, what has changed in e-commerce during the pandemic? And I'll summarize this into three key areas. The first one is that there's huge amounts of increase in online sales, primarily because people are not able to go out, or they go out less frequent. And because of that, they start buying online. They now have more time to shop, and more importantly, they are actually getting used to what's buying online. And that has led very much an increase in sales online. The second area, it's very much an increase in advertisement spend because of the increased buying behavior of online shoppers. Now, the digital marketing agencies are looking at very much how to capture this particular increasing and growing market. And because of that, there's huge amounts of increased ad spend. You need to know which is the focus group of customers that you would like to target. Otherwise, you'll be spending huge amounts of advertising dollars. And lastly, because of increased amount of opportunities in this area, there's also an increasing amount of online scams as well as online fraud. It's important then to be able to better give assurance towards the online buyers that you're a legitimate website and that you're really providing the goods as well as the services that you promise to provide. These are three key areas that I believe have changed in e-commerce during the pandemic. The question is, what are the opportunities for e-commerce in the next 1 or 2 years? And I strongly believe that this sector will just continue to grow, primarily because there's an increase in the amount of internet penetration, there's a changing consumer behavior where people are now more used to what's buying online, and thirdly, there are more vendors that are selling their products and services online, some of them purely online without even having a physical presence. I believe there are three things to look into. The first is sell global. With e-commerce, you're now able to sell globally. Why would you want to limit yourself towards just a local market? And with this increased audience and customer size that you're able to sell into, you can potentially really increase the amount of sales you're able to generate utilizing e-commerce. The second, it's very much about engaging strongly. And customers that have bought from you before, that receive the product or service that they have purchased, and you have met or overachieved the expectations of what they're looking for, more often than not, you have an opportunity to sell to them the second time, the third time, the fourth time, or more. Always remember to engage the existing customers continually because you already have spent marketing dollars to reach out to them. And lastly, you want to look at how you're able to measure everything, primarily because the market changes all the time. Whatever was successful before might not necessarily mean that it will be successful today or even in the future. Measure everything so that you have the data that you need in order to make an informed decision how to drive the different growth levers in increasing sales based on your e-commerce strategy. Just a very short series. Hopefully you enjoyed the session. If you want to find out more or you want to basically interact, you're able to find me on LinkedIn at HUIJIELIM, or you can visit us at VisionGroup.co. Thank you.